international circuit for round 4 of the World Endurance Championship. The last time we were here was in 2017, but this time our teams are going to be tackling an 8-hour race. Before we get on with the racing, let's take a look at the technology involved in the WEC with Kevin Estra.
It's quite a crazy steering wheel we have in a WEC car. We have a 15-page handbook to learn the steering wheel before the season, and this RSR 19 has a really nice one with some really cool features. At first, you know, some standard, let's say, race car options with the full course yellow button. Then you have the radio to speak to the engineer. The drink, because we drive 2 or 3 hours in the car, so we need to get some drink. And then we have some really crazy options because this car has so much technology, and we have a menu with letters. So for example, I can go to, my engineer will tell me, okay, we have an issue with telemetry. And then we have the traction control, for example. So one thing is the timing and one thing is the intensity. So how much, when does the traction control will come in and how much it will come in. And then we have a kill button to stop the car as quick as possible when we come to a pit stop. And then of course the paddle shift. So downshift on the left side and upshift on the right side. The first time we drove it was in the middle of 2018, and actually the first 3D print steering wheel we got in our hand was, I would say, 1 year earlier. So it takes a lot of time to develop and to design a steering wheel like this for the engineer, and also for us to have it as early as possible in our hands to make sure the buttons are accessible. It should take under 2 seconds, let's say, to move any button there. So we need to be quick and we need to learn. We need to do our homework.
Copy, radio check now.
Saturday race day at the Bahrain International Circuit. The 8 hours part of a 4-day long weekend of festivities celebrating the Kingdom's National Day. And the fans turning out in force on a warm, sunny and thankfully dry and relatively wind-free day. Conditions perfect for the autograph session, to meet the drivers, to see the cars, and hopefully will remain perfect for the race as well. Before the start, the grid is packed with cars, teams, fans, well-wishers, the great and the good. And you would think it's a place of high tension as everybody prepares for 8 hours of intense combat. But the smiles help relieve that tension. It is a friendly and warm environment with the drivers swapping yarns with each other before they get down to the serious business. Among them, Jean-Marc Finot, who'll bring Peugeot back to endurance racing in the hypercar category.
The calendar for next season for the WEC has been announced this week, and Gerard Neveu, can you tell us about the new additions we have?
Yes, of course, in complement of the current existing major event we have, like Silverstone, like Fuji, like Bahrain, where we stay today, like we have also with Super Sebring in Florida, then also Spa in Belgium, and of course the Super Final of Le Mans. We have had 2 very big places for the motorsport, especially for the sports car. Monza in Italy in October in 20, and in 21 February we back in Africa, in South Africa, in the fantastic place of Kyalami. So that's permit and that make us allow it to provide an incredible calendar with a fantastic place only dedicated for the pure motorsport, which is corresponding to the WEC.
It's going to be a good one. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Busy grid in GTEAM, headed for the very first time by the 57 Team Project One car. Larry Tenforder and Ben Keating setting pole. It'll be the gentleman driver Keating who starts the car, and all the other AM cars will start their gentlemen too. In GTE Pro, the battle for pole eventually went to the 91 Porsche by 600ths from their teammates. This is going to be a super tight race in GTE Pro.
8 hours, 2 drivers, very demanding circuit, and with lots of tire degradation we see.
First pole in LMP2 in the World Championship for United Autosports. There's joint owner Zach Brown with Richard Dean and Sheikh Mohammed Al Khalifa, who is the owner of McLaren. That's, of course, Zach Brown's other job. Richard Dean, charged with running this team. Philippe Albuquerque, Phil Hansen and Paul di Resta will start at the front in LMP2 for the very first time. In the LMP1 class, Ginetta on the front row of the grid. Sparkling speed in qualifying from both the number 5 and the number 6 cars from Team LNT. But not enough to claim pole. Jean-Marc Finot is with the pole-sitting Rebellion team, the team with which Peugeot will come back into endurance racing in the hypercar category. So Rebellion starts on the front row of the grid, but it's going to be a tough task to win in Bahrain.
Okay, can I see it? It's 8 hours, it's a hot circuit, it's hard on the brakes. And even for the Toyotas with the success handicap, for all of us, it's a challenge. So this is a good feat for Le Mans with our car. So we'll give it our best, but I just think the most flawless race, the smoother the better.
The national anthem has played, the grid is cleared, and now it is time for the serious business. The longest race of the calendar so far is about to get underway here in Bahrain. The 8 Hours of Bahrain is underway. Bruno Senna on the left on pole position, but he's under pressure from the Ginetta beside and the Toyotas behind. The inside line for pole should give him the lead into turn 1, but Charlie Robertson is still there in the Ginetta. Right inside, he spins. Contact. Out goes the Rebellion. Out goes the Ginetta. Disaster for Rebellion. Now, who survived the melee? Will we have a safety car? Let's take a look again. Robertson, the black car, around the outside. Just has enough there, but spins up as he gets onto the throttle. Through on the left goes the number 7 Toyota. Number 8 goes off, hits the 22 car. That's United Autosport. So it's the number 7 Toyota that lead. United Autosports in second place, the number 22 LMP2 car ahead of G-Drive. But there was definite contact between the Toyota and the United Autosports car. So it may only be the number 7 car that survived unscathed in LMP1. Well, Rebellion are back on. But we've lost another car somewhere. Confusion at the first corner. There are the 2 Ginettas buried in the middle of the LMP2 field with the Toyota number 8 behind. Battle for second, G-Drive, the orange car. One-off race here. We believe they may come to Spa and they will do Le Mans as well. Safety car is out. Safety car boards being shown.
I know, mate. I know.
Well, Bruno Senna not at all happy. Let's take a look again from the Toyota behind. And it's when the Ginetta hits the throttle here, he spins, hits the number 1 car, and the Toyota comes back on, and right there you saw a big impact with United Autosports LMP2 car. And from Charlie Robertson's view, number 7 goes by, and so do the survivors of that first corner. With Miguel Molina in GT Pro, down the inside, Alessandro Pierguidi dive bombs the Porsches that started on the front row. We get passed by the Aston 95 as well, but Ferrari taking the lead in GTE Pro. Back to green flag racing. Toyota number 7 with a golden opportunity now. Into the pits goes the number 5 Ginetta, and that means second and third overall now. LMP2 cars, United Autosports and the orange car of G-Drive. Then Cool Racing behind them. And here comes Marco Sorensen in the 95 Aston Martin, making a move on Kevin Estre, or trying to, for second place in GTE Pro. Number 8 Toyota trying to work its way back up the field, goes by the high-class racing entry number 33. That didn't look so easy though for Sebastian Buemi.
I have no boost, come on. Bravo 11-1, Bravo 11-1 to get to normal running mode.
No boost on demand, so maybe that little clatter with United Autosports car changed some of the settings. He's been told how to settle them back. Well, here comes Bruno Senna, probably a long while since he's been quite so angry. He moves by the Aston Martin, working his way through the GTE Pro field, so this puts him in 14th place. If it was a 4-hour race, all of this would be much more dramatic, but in an 8-hour race, there's time for the first corner kerfuffle to sort itself out. Number 8 car moves ahead of the Signatech Alpine LMP2 car up to 7th place. And that means after just about a quarter of an hour, we now have 2 LMP1 cars in the top 10. But the number 7 Toyota, what a gift they have been handed. Mike Conway races away as the other LMP1 cars struggle to recover. Here's the battle for second place. United Autosports versus Team LNT. The Ginetta goes by. So continuing the recovery, Mike Simpson. Leader in GTE AM is car number 57, that's Ben Keating. All the AMs started in the GTE AM class. Behind him is Maxime Martin in the 97 Aston Martin, and the delayed Ginetta coming by as well, or trying to. The Ginetta looking to find a way by on the straight. Charlie Robertson squeezes by the Aston. United Autosports Paul di Resta in third place now. This is an uneven battle with the LMP2 car giving away so much horsepower to the Toyota of Sebastian Buemi. And he makes it easy for Buemi to go by on the straight. Buemi trying to break the toe so the United Autosport car doesn't repass him into turn 1. But Paul di Resta keeping the speed up, can't help but catch the Toyota when it runs out a hybrid boost. Replay here, Mike Conway in traffic, and Thomas Floor in his AM class Ferrari spins right at the apex of the corner, almost took out the leader. Cool Racing versus Racing Team Netherlands. This is the battle for third place in LMP2. And through goes the number 29 car, and that was started by Gerda van der Gaard. Passes Nico Lapierre as he works his way up the order, picking up places. Number 8 Toyota, number 1 Rebellion. The Rebellion now back with the lead group.
We are losing mainly the high-speed flexor. So we will change the front end because anyway we have 7 hours and 20 minutes to go, so it's better to do it at the beginning.
Damage on the nose of the Toyota is upsetting the balancer car. There's the head of Peugeot Sport. Talking to Kahin Bahuja of Rebellion, they have announced that they will come as a pairing together into the hypercars class in the near future. Well, up to third place goes Bruno Senna, down into this always tricky turn 1 at the end of the straight here in Bahrain.
Bahrain. Big straights and big breaks. And with this race being 8 hours and going from daylight into darkness, we're going to see that beautiful sight of those brake discs glowing red as we come down into this first corner. But Bahrain is a 5.4 kilometre track and it's got 5 big stops en route. And then when you think about it, from the driver's point of view, they're coming into this corner, the first corner, and they're pushing that brake pedal with about 100 bar of pressure, trying to stop the car from about 300 kilometers per hour down to 65 right at that apex. And that means there's an intensity of heat goes into those pads and discs. It starts about maybe 400 degrees Celsius as they hit the brake back there. But by the time they're here, it's over 850 degrees Celsius, just in an instant. That heat, that explosive heat, has to go somewhere. Goes into the pad, goes into the disc, goes into the caliper, and it just means that it's always on that boiling edge. And also the engineers have to think as well, what happens at the pit stops? 8 hours, there's probably going to be about 10 of those. And in that pit stop, when the car is sitting refueling, you get heat soak going into that caliper. It then affects the rubber seals that hold the caliper and the piston together behind the pad itself, which then means for the driver, he gets a long pedal as he comes down into this braking area. That means it's easier to make mistakes. So the engineer's thinking, aha, brake cooling. But if he makes the brake cooling bigger, he also means that he has to try to counteract that with a losing of the straight line speed as well. So this race, it's going to be very hard for the engineers to get that compromise. It's going to be very hard for the drivers to try to regulate it. But it's going to be extremely hard for the brakes.
GTE Pro battle for fourth. Jimmy Bruni just ahead of 71 Ferrari. That's Miguel Molina. Don't forget the Porsche started 1-2 on the grid, and both cars used a second set of tyres to try and grab the extra point for pole position with a view to the championship battle. Well, Jimmy Bruni down into the first corner, catching Miguel Molina a little by surprise there. Very late move to take that spot. Racing Team Netherlands into the pit. One of the jobs that the mechanics will always have to do here is clean the rubber debris out of the air ducts. That's going to be vital for brake cooling. Checking inside to make sure there's not too much build-up. Look at the damage on the nose after that collision with United Autosports. The Toyota with a new nose ready, we know that. So Sebastian Buemi will be waiting, well, as patiently as he can. Doesn't have the greatest patience often in a racing car, Seb. There's that brand new nose. Settings will be either exactly what came off or adjusted to make the car handle a little better. In the GTE AM class, there's the 77 Dempsey Proton Porsche. Christian Ried under pressure from Thomas Floor. Floor in the 54 Ferrari. We saw Spin earlier attacking the 70 Ferrari that's behind. He's got by him. He's got by the Dempsey Proton car as well. So making good progress from the last spot on the grid. 95 Aston Martin hits its marks. This might be a little early pit stop now. Have they got an issue? Mickey Team runs around to help out Marco Sorensen. What's the strategy here?
It should work out that we might be able to jump the others and then maybe stay ahead and then control it from there. So we did it in Shanghai and we tried again here. So both cars are on different strategies, so yeah, it'll be interesting.
This GT Pro battle is to be won on the racetrack and on the pit wall just as much. Alessandro Pierguidi in traffic. He's the car they're trying to get to, the GT Pro leader. Flashing the headlights at the 88 Dempsey Proton car. Most of the other cars yet to stop. That's Khaled Al Khabaisi in 88. the only driver from the Gulf states in the race. LMP2 battle, 36 Senior Tech Alpine, 33 High Class Racing on Goodyear tyres. And Kenta Yamashita dives to the inside of Andre Negrão. 36 Senior Tech Alpine, they've got a mountain to climb here. They destroyed a set of tyres in qualifying, which means they've got even fewer tyres than anybody else. Drive-through penalty for the Ginetta for causing the collision at turn 1. And that was with number 70 Ferrari as GT Pro pit stops for the lead 2. James Collado taking over in the Ferrari. And they will hopefully rejoin in the lead. Battle behind the number 8 Toyota between two more of our Goodyear shod cars. 37 Jackie Chan DC Racing, and through go their garage mates, the Jota Sport car in 4th position now. Anthony Davidson going by Ho Pin Tung. Looks like the Goodyear tyres are holding up well. They were a little worried early in the race when the degradation is high on this really rough track. With Sebastian Buemi finding a way by Mike Simpson. This is a change for 3rd place, or is it? Simpson now, the Toyota's ran out of hybrid boost, comes right back at him, looking to go the long way round the outside, but he's on the dirt, on all the tyre debris, and just steers wide off the circuit. Take a look again, Simpson defending his position, but gets onto the muck and drifts out wide. Into the pits, number 6 Ginetta, Team LNT race into action. Chris Dyson, the American driver who was due to race earlier in the season at Silverstone, the season opener, but he was busy trying to win the Trans Am title back in the States. So his first drive, and Bruno Senna hands over as well. Gustavo Menezes takes over. Look at this shine on those tyres. Brand new rubber going on for Gustavo. Tough fight for Rebellion. They were expecting one against the Toyotas and the Ginettas, but from the front of the field, I wonder what the drivers have to say.
Yeah, I think the Ginetta missed the memo. That's an 8-hour race, and attacked so hard into turn 1. Into turn 2, I was very nice. I didn't squeeze him off the track or anything. I wanted everybody to have a good race, and then he just didn't take the hint and hit me. We were dead last and had to fight, but now there's a big gap to the Toyota. We're going to have to fight very hard.
The start was less than ideal. I got a good run on Bruno, and I had the inside for the left. And to be honest, the wheel spin just caught me out, and I got sideways and unfortunately collected him with the rear.
Battle for 3rd in GTE Am. Here's Egidio Perfetti under real pressure from Charlie Eastwood in the red TF Sport Aston. He slips through. And Niklas Nielsen not far behind in that white and black Ferrari. Then the Gulf Porsche there as well. So Perfetti in 3rd place. And 4th and 5th are hot on his heels. But it looks like the Aston Martin is moving away. And the Pro Class Aston squeezes through as well. It's all a bit busy there, isn't it? Formation flying everywhere you look. Egidio Perfetti, like Saliolic and our race leader, one of the AM drivers, but some of the teams have already slotted in their pros. The white Ferrari, Nick Nielsen, one of their quick young guys, and behind Ben Barker is in the Gulf Porsche. So it's a battle between the gentlemen and the pros. And Nick Nielsen and Ben Barker both go by Egidio Perfetti, and now Barker around the outside of the Ferrari. That may not work well down into turn 10. Can he get the cut back underneath on the short back straight? Into the pits comes the 2nd placed Toyota, and a driver change. Sebastian Buemi out. Brendan Hartley hares round to jump into the car. Under pressure here as ever in the pits, not to give away even a fraction of a second. Neat work from Toyota, tyre change and fuel. He's down and gone, but he's down to 3rd. And this is the Rebellion going by while the Toyota was stationary, but the pit stop strategies are very different for the two cars.
Okay, Camry, you're on the half new set on the left and qualify on the right. We go for 15. Just we have to reset some PC adjustment. I will give you the driver default in the main straight. Copy.
Race leader Kamui Kobayashi fresh out of the pits, driving the wheels off the car. Now he's going to have to punch in a whole host of new settings to tailor it to his demands. And he leads in LMP1. United Autosport's lead in LMP2. Driver change there as well. That means Paul de Resta is in the garage with Louise Beckett.
It was a bit chaotic at the start, as it always is. It seems to be quite bad at the moment, but managed to get through it. Picked up a bit of damage with the Toyota coming back on the track. He rejoined quite sharply and caught the back tail of our car. Not enough damage to cause any issues, but it was a nice stint. We managed to extend it as well compared to some others who are struggling, but tyre wear is going to be key. It's going to be a management game all the way through, but as long as they've got that comfortable margin, you can keep going. But listen, there's still well over 6 hours to go, and when you're racing around here, always something can throw a surprise. So keep our head down. I'm not in the car for a long time again, and then get back in and hopefully do the same again.
Coming down the straight, the glare of headlights behind the Ferrari. That's Chris Dyson in fourth, and the race leader, who's been trying to put a lap on the Team LNT Ginetta for the last few laps, but just can't find a way to get by him.
This is ridiculous. Yeah, I know. We do our best on our side, Camry. You just have to wait for the opportunity, Camry, at the moment. Just wait for the opportunity with traffic, maybe.
He uses the boost on demand, then runs out and can't get by. In the end, patience pays off for Kamui. You've got to dive by when you can. On board with Alex Lynn, chasing Jimmy Bruni for third in GTE Pro, and there's that pesky race-leading Toyota going through the gap.
I'm losing time. I think they have to be at me. He will pass me if you don't stop immediately. I'm attacked now. No, don't miss now. He happened 4 new times. Stay out, relax, and I told you what to do. I'm checking.
The voice of engineer Luca Massey, who moved to Porsche with Jimmy Bruni from Ferrari. Be like a swan, serene on the surface, paddling like heck underneath. All past the celebrations for Bahrain's National Day. It's around this 8-hour race. Both Ferraris in the pits, Aston Martin coming in as well. Strategy will unfold somewhere in the last hour or two of this race. So this is a long game of chess being played by the GTE cars at huge speed. Ferrari just getting out of the pit lane now. They came in nose to tail, so Ferrari's gained 1, 2, maybe 3 seconds there. Number 1 Rebellion hits its marks. Gustavo Menezes stays in. Fuel, there are brand new tyres ready, and the gunman is poised. Now, are they phasing out their rivals, pretending to do a tyre change or not? Number 8 Toyota moves back into second place. Remember, lost that spot when the Rebellion stopped, and the Rebellion is in the pits. And this is a drama. Now, we heard earlier on that they'd had some gear shifting issues. Looks like they are growing. Bruno Senna, Norman Nato watching on. And team boss Hugh Hayden comes in to watch progress. Back in our GTE Pro battle, on board with the 92 Porsche.
Now the Dane train makes sense.
Well, there is a Dane, Michael Christensen, but he's been bottled up behind fellow Dane, Nicky Team, for a long time now. And the queue behind Team's Aston is growing. It was just the Porsche, now the Ferrari is catching, the second Aston is catching, and the second Porsche is catching as well. Nicky Team and Marco Sorensen have always called themselves the Dane train. And it looks like they're getting bored of getting stuck behind him. Here's Christensen under pressure for second. The Ferrari down the inside, even with that damage. Through he goes for second place, Alessandro Pierguidi. And at the back of the queue, this is Alex Lynn. The Nicky Team really is holding everybody up. If you've got the slowest car, that's what you do. And the way they're catching him, he has got the slowest car in GT Pro at the moment. Aston still in front, says Kevin Estra, little frustrated. And the Ferrari putting the moves in now in traffic as the Ginetta goes by. Again down the inside, same place on the short back straight, goes by Nicky Team to take the lead. So the Ferrari's made up 2 places. The Aston still has the Porsche behind it though. That's where the frustration comes in for the Porsche drivers. They were bottled up on new tyres behind the Aston on old, and the edge has gone off their tyres. The LMP2 car's struggling to get through this GT Pro battle as well, and Alex Lynn, right up behind Fritz van Aert. And he turned to the inside to avoid that contact, but Van Aert slow off the corner. Take a look again, just the tiniest of touches, Van Aert spinning out. Ferrari lead. Ferrari won last time here and in 2014. Porsche winners in 2015, Aston 2016. And the 92 Porsche dives finally to the inside of Nicky Team. Michael Christensen squeezes by for second. Through goes the Jota Sport car as well. That was a narrow squeak. So the 95 Aston now starting to plummet. And as its tyres go right off, it will lose more and more time compared to its fresher rubbered rivals. Alex Lynn next up. Meanwhile, race leader is Kamui Kobayashi for Toyota. Number 8 in second place. It's a 1-2 for the Toyota drivers. Giannetta's third and fourth, and the delayed rebellion behind the LMP2 leaders. In the GTE Pro battle, Nicky Team has dived into the pit lane for new tyres, and with only left side fresh tyres, Alex Lynn also under pressure.
Boys, whatever you do next, it's imperative we keep track position here, but we take the 4 new tyres. Copy that. That is the plan. That is the plan.
Like Nicky Team, trying to hold off rivals on fresher tyres has been frustrating for Alex Lynn, but each of the 3 teams is watching their rivals like a hawk. They'll be watching what the others are doing in strategy and trying to plan their own tyre usage around it. And all the time, the drivers trying to preserve their tyres and their brakes while battling for position against world-class opposition. It's not just about driving fast. The more you make the fresh tyres work to get by you, the less fresh they are when you come back out on your clean rubber. So Richard Leeds really struggling here to get by Alex Lynn. This is exactly what Lynn needs to do. Defend, 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 make life tough for your rivals. But there, the traction of the fresher tyres on the Porsche pays off. But Alex Lynn is not taking it lying down. Well, the Aston Martins from the front of the field to the back as they use old tyres. Now driver change. Maxime Martin takes over for Alex Lynn. He will have 4 fresh tyres and be ready to try and carve his way back up through the field. Race leader on pit road as we get into hour 3 of the race. And a driver change. Jose Maria Lopez takes over for the first time. And right behind, in comes the number 8 from second place. Giannetta's third and fourth. And the Rebellion now has cleared the LMP2 field up to 5th place overall. Kazuki Nakajima's C-Tensor slots in, followed by Kazuki himself. Battle for the lead in the GT Yam class, and it's still the 57 Porsche out front, but Ben Keating, after a 3-hour monster stint, has now handed over to Larry Tenforda, who carries on the good work, but under pressure from the Gulf Porsche for the lead of the race. It was a stunning 3-hour stint by Keating.
It's really exciting out there. It was a lot of fun. You know, I just drove for 3 stints, got all my driving time out of the way. That wasn't necessarily the plan, but I was doing well enough out there and I felt good in the car. They just decided to leave me in there and get it all done.
Kevin Estre down the inside of the 51 Ferrari, monster lockup. Into the garage goes the 92 Porsche. This is the car that started on the front row of the grid in the GTE Pro class. Now, what's going on here? This is a major setback for Porsche.
They called for the splitter and the underfloor because I was touching in the front, I think, under me.
Yeah, Kevin reported some issues on car behavior on the last 2 laps, and yeah, he said there was no puncture, so we had to have a look at the car, and it looked like we had a damper failure, so that was really unfortunate. So we had to change the damper and yeah, try to repair whatever we could on the car and keep going.
So 92 car with a new damper, back ready to go into action, but last in GTE Pro. Khaled El Khabaisi for the Dempsey Proton team, losing it under braking and just clipping the end of the barriers. Al-Khabaisi heading into the pit lane, but there is a lot of debris down at that final corner.
Full course yellow. We have debris on driver's left at T14.
Car goes back into the garage. That might be the end of their race. This has not been a good 10 minutes for Porsche. Damage on the Pro car and now on an AM car as well.
I don't know if there is a puncture or something. I think a puncture. I will check. It's 4 tires new. If you see the alarm, it's just because it's low the pressure, the starting pressure. So don't worry. Okay, there is something wrong. Don't worry. Something is wrong.
This is a disaster for Porsche. That's the 91 car, Jimmy Bruni. They have a tyre ready. He's only just left the pit stops. They made a stop under full course yellow. There's no wheel nut. The wheel has come loose. It's punctured, and he goes back into the garage as well.
Stay off the big curves. Stay off big curves at the moment. Both Porsches have had punctures.
Well, it's always a wise idea to stay off the curbs if you can, but so often you need to use the curbs for speed. Aston being very cautious there. They don't want to lose a good position with a puncture. What a disaster for Porsche.
After the pit stop, suddenly Jimmy reported a puncture, and as we saw, the mechanics repaired something on the front right. So I have to investigate also, but for sure we got some damage on the underfloor now. Because we scrapped it one lap around, but I think at the moment the time lost is anyway so much, so it's about finishing it now, the racing at some points.
4 hours in, 128 laps completed by the lead Toyota. United Autosports on top, still in the LMP2 class. They run in 6th position. Aston Martin's 97 car leading GTE Pro. Team Project One still in front in GTE AM. But 4 hours of racing still to go. Anything could yet happen. In the Ginetta garage, Mike Simpson relaxing a little. Drama for Ginetta. This is Jordan King coming down into the hairpin, and as he's trying to down change, it sounds like a bag of spanners behind him. New tail going on to the number 8 Toyota. It looked like it was a little loose. They are taking no chances here. Toyota gifted a chance for a 1-2 result that they really didn't think was going to be anything other than sheer hard graft. Don't make mistakes. Toyota still 1-2. Jose Maria Lopez leading from Kazuki Nakajima. Side-by-side battle for second in LMP2 on the inside. Jaap van Uitert dives by Jackie Chan DC Racing's Ho Pin Tung. The G-Drive car struggled early on, had the wrong tyres from the Michelin selection on their car. Now they are moving back up the order. Don't forget Jaap van Uitert claiming pole position for Racing Team Netherlands in the season opener at Silverstone. Back in the fold with G-Drive. In the GT Pro class battle, this is the 95 Aston Martin that leads. Right behind Marco Sorensen, though, Davide Rigon. The gap has come right down. They're just about to pit, though. Nicky Team is caught by surprise by the camera as he gets ready. And the Ferrari in traffic. This is a great opportunity. Can the Dane hold on in front? The Ferrari is alongside. Has he got the ground? Yes, he has. Squeezes by. You've got to be super aware of all traffic. Go hard or go home is Nicky Team's motto. I don't think he's going home just yet, though. Door opens. Out will get Marco Sorensen. In will get Nicky Team. And he will get fresh tyres. Fresh tyres too. Looks like left sides only for the Aston and for the Ferrari. So they're stopping at the same time, and the strategy is the same. The Aston is down and gone. The Ferrari, will it stay in front? Yes. And the gap is a little larger as well. Ferrari have gained a second or 2 or 3 there in the pit stops. Sharp work by AF Corsa, and this GT Pro battle now is 2 Ferraris versus 2 Astons. The Porsches are out of it, straggling in 5th and 6th. Super close racing again in LMP2. Jaap van Uitert at the centre of it once more for G-Drive. Down to 4th place as his tyres get older. And Andre Negrão, 36 Senior Tech Alpine, McGraw and his teammates struggling with one fewer set of healthy tyres than anybody else in the class, but making up ground. Goes around the outside of Joop van Uitert, so he is on fresher rubber for sure. And lots of racing going on here, pretty much with the exception of United Autosports, who lead the field by a country mile. The number 38 Jota Sport car is in second place, the closest pursuers, and they are determined to try and get back on terms.
They're fast, they're really fast today. They probably have a little bit of an edge on us, but we'll see. It's all about the second stint on the tires. It's a lot of tire deg here, and we're trying to manage it as good as we can, so we're in good shape at the end of the race. But they will be hard to beat today. You know, there's another Portuguese guy in that car, and I really want to catch him. But yeah, it's going to be fun.
Paul de Resta, the starting driver, taking over from Phil Hansen. The third driver, Felipe Albuquerque, is the Portuguese that Antonio Felix da Costa was talking about. A battle between two Portuguese drivers in the Jota team and United. Leader in traffic, number 7 car now behind number 8. So number 8 has unlapped itself, but number 7 was asked to give that position away, but clearly the number 8 car can't hold the pace. Number 7 puts a lap on the second placed car. Well, that's huge dominance. Everything going very well for Toyota number 7. And don't forget, 1.5 points for this race. 38 for a win, not 25. The game of 3D chess in GTE Pro continues. One pair of Aston Martin versus Ferrari still on track. The other pair on a different strategy, again pit together. Now remember, last time round, the Ferrari team were a little quicker in the pit lane. This time round though, let's see. No, the Aston comes out in front. So maybe a change of strategy. Somebody on newer tyres, somebody may not have changed because the fueling pretty much takes the same for each of the cars. Battle is rejoined. 97 leads from 51, 95 ahead of 71. Aston with the upper hand at the moment. Norminato out in the number 1 Rebellion. Gets Bruno Senna. So Senna the starting driver, with work to do still. Are they going to be able to split the Toyotas? Kumbahuja and Ugdashonak conferring there. And the United Autosports owner, Zach Brown, is here as well. Their race going very well.
Well, it's very tight. We were pretty comfortable the first half of the race. We don't have the balance that we would like here at night. So we're kind of trading laps here with Jota right behind us. I think it's going to be pretty close here to the finish.
Conway out, Kobayashi in. Going nicely for the Toyota number 7.
At the beginning of the race, obviously, the road opened up with the 2 guys spinning in front of me, and yeah, so we just got in the front, and I just pushed as hard as we could, and I was amazed really that we could pull a big gap because, you know, I thought the Rebellion would be fast on us most of the day, but luckily we had a good gap, we could keep pulling, and then the rest of the day we've just been strong. We've just been able to pull the gap when we need to, and yeah, guys done a great job with the car. I mean, we copied our sister car setup today because we were not really happy with practice and qualifying, so yeah, I guess thanks to them giving us a good car.
Disappointment now for Chris Dyson and for the Ginetta Team LNT. The number 5 car stopped out on the circuit with, we believe, gear selection issues, and the number 6 car is in the garage as well, and it looks as though they have gear selection problems there as well. And this might be the end of the road for Team LNT. Don't forget, only the 4th race for this team, only the 4th race for this car as well. LMP2 leader in the pits, and the LMP2 leader goes by as Jota Stop United retake the lead of the class from what was second position. But this battle looks like it's going all the way to the flag.
Full course yellow. On the start-finish straight, all cars to bear right.
Bit of debris in the track. Somebody has picked up a bollard from the final corner. And a chance now for a little bit of housekeeping. And full course yellow means anybody about half a lap from the pits is going to look to try and top off their fuel to make it through to the end of the race. Inside the final 45 minutes, that's exactly what's happening with the Toyota and the Rebellion. David Richards watching on, the CEO of Aston Martin Racing. It is looking good for Aston Martin. They lead the race and closing in on a second podium spot. Marco Sorensen leads in the 95 Aston by inches.
Yeah, this is what we love, isn't it? Close racing. 8 hours, it's unbelievable. 8 hours to be fighting inside 1 second with the Ferrari. It's been a stunning race so far. Again, 8 hours. It's quite a highlight for the WEC. I would say it's the first time, and it's what a place to do it. And obviously, it didn't look like we had the pace from the beginning, but now somehow we are fighting for the win, and I'm just super proud of the boys.
And Ferrari about to be struck a blow.
Stop and go penalty, car 71 for spinning the wheels at the end of the pit stop.
And it is so easily done on the sandy, dirty concrete surface. In he comes for the stop and go penalty. It's not going to cost them second place though, but it does mean they are not able to attack the Aston for victory any longer. Last lap of the race, last lap of the calendar year, last lap of the decade for the FIA World Endurance Championship. The checkered flag awaits, an unlikely Toyota 1-2, and victory in the 8 Hours of Bahrain goes to car number 7, Mike Conway, Kamui Kobayashi, and Jose Maria Lopez, who brings them across the line to claim victory. Big smile on the face of Mike Conway. He must have had a big smile when the field opened up in front of him on the first lap of the race. It was an advantage the number 7 crew needed, and they did not squander it. 38 points for victory. That is a massive blow for them in the championship battle.
You know, we had a tough week in the beginning, but I think we made it in the race. Obviously, I think Mike and Jose did a great job. I think we had a really great pace. I think great performance from all the team guys. Thank you.
Victory in GTE Pro goes to Aston Martin Racing's number 95, Marco Sorensen. There's a very happy Nicky team. Their second win of the year after victory in Fuji. Victory in the longest race. There's John Gore, Aston Martin Racing, and there's the chairman, David Richards. They are delighted with a 1-3 result.
Ferrari definitely brought us to us right in the end, and by the team not doing any mistakes, it's basically how we won. What a race, especially on the second stint of the tires. But wow, it should have been 3 in a row now, but now I think we're leading the championship, so I'm just super delighted, and Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas too to United Autosports, the team's first ever World Championship win. That is a huge day for the newcomers to the championship. Just their 4th race, and after troubles with the car stopping in races 1 and 2 at Silverstone and Fuji, they are victorious. No wonder they are looking delighted with themselves. GTE AM from pole to checkered flag. The number 57 car led more laps than anybody else by a mile, and a Superman stint from Ben Keating set them on the road to victory. Aston Martin Racing, Ferrari, and Aston Martin's 97 car, the podium in GTE Pro. And Aston Martin now take the championship lead with drivers and teams. And Toyota, they expected a long, tough race. It wasn't quite as tough as they thought. The number 17 winning by a lap, and Toyota comfortably in front now in the manufacturer's standings in LMP1. Christmas came early in Bahrain for the number 7 Toyota crew, for United Autosports, for the 95 Aston Martin duo, and for Team Project One. So that is it for the 8 Hours of Bahrain, the longest race of the season so far. Points and a half awarded to our finishers. We rejoin in a new decade at the Circuit of the Americas in February. This modern circuit